that law enforcement agencies will be training to figure out how they come into my community, extract and kill us. I am happy, however, that this is the last time that it will look like that. I am happy and honored that I've gotten to be in deep relationship and partnership with the amazing crew that entered into and stepped to the long, protracted struggle to end Urban Shield. That's called organizing. So we live in a society of instant gratification, right? Our kids don't even know how to look for something, look for anything. I send my daughter upstairs to find my glasses. They could be right on the shelf. She can't see them. She can't Google it. She can't find it. Period. Instant gratification, but that is not organizing. Organizing is dirty, it's gritty, it's grimy, media doesn't follow it. It's long hours, long days, long weeks, long months, and in this case, long years. So let's give it up to our comrades who stuck in it, stuck with it, and won this victory for the people. So my name is Kat Brooks. I love y'all too. I am the co-founder of the Anti-Police Terror Project and the executive director of the Justice Teams Network, and I'm honored to be your MC today. I'm going to do as little talking as possible, and we've got some really amazing speakers that are with us for our program. And the first person that I'm going to bring up is a woman named Joye Braun. Joye Braun is with the Indigenous Environmental Network. She is, yes, give it up, give it up. She is also with the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. She was the first camper at Standing Rock. Yeah, that deserves, right? Because that movement sparked international conversation that is ongoing about self-determination, indigenous rights, and water as life. So Joye was the first camper at Standing Rock and was there until eviction, which means that she lived through the terrorism that was rained down upon our comrades there. She is still fighting DAPL, KXL, and uranium and gold mining. This is a freedom fighter, a land and water protector. Please give in the Bay Area town welcome to Joye Braun.
Guys, Mini Returning! I bet you watch that you happy. Wambly weka we imachi happy. Wambly paha al PP. All had no pa. Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. My name is Eagle Feather Woman. I'm a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and when my relatives called and asked for help with Dakota Access Pipeline, how could I say no to my auntie? How could I say no to my cousin? How could I say no to the little boys and girls who are going to come up to me and said, what are we going to do when we don't have clean water? So I answered that call. Now I have rheumatoid arthritis and I'm diabetic and I got all kinds of things wrong with me. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter. Each and every single one of you has a gift and a talent to lend to this movement, to build solidarity, to build unity, because through unity, we will enlighten the world. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the police did to us. Morton County, and Montana, Minnesota, Louisiana, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, and a myriad others under these guises, Urban Shield, stereotype, protocol. I'm going to tell you some of the things that happened to me. I have been tear gassed. I have been rubber bulleted. And people think rubber bullets are little tiny things like this. No, they're big things like this, and they rip holes in your arms. I've been pepper sprayed. We were water cannoned at 20 degrees. Do you know what it's like to be water cannoned at 20 degrees? For 8 hours. I watched my water protectors, my fellow people, black, brown, red, yellow, it didn't matter what color you were. I watched them go down and get beat and get their hair ripped out of their heads. Police militarization is a false solution for safety. It does not provide safety. We were in the middle of North Dakota, in the middle of a field, in a state that has 750,000 people total. How is that safety? Because I can tell you, if we had actually been throwing Mazel Tov cocktails, which we didn't do, if we had actually been throwing bombs, which we weren't doing, we had pipes, and they called them our chanupas, our sacred chanupas, and they called them pipe bombs. Those were our sacred chanupas, our sacred pipes loaded with tobacco. If we had actually had any of that stuff, do you think for 1 minute that the U.S. media in all of its glory, that wouldn't have been all over the world? That they wouldn't have come in with bullets and caused another Wounded Knee massacre? Of course not. Because what did we do? We prayed. Even as they called me prairie nigger, I prayed. Even as they called me a dirty squaw, I prayed. Even as I heard them say horrible things and beat a 10-year-old child, I prayed. That 10-year-old child was my nephew. I watched one of our young water protectors whose arm had been broken 2 days before they came in the treaty camp raid, and they re-broke her arm on purpose. And it's really hard for me because I know that these police officers have souls because the Creator told me that they have souls. I know that we touch them because there was a time when we were at Turtle Island, and they were spraying us with water hoses, and we were in the water, and the water was 30 degrees, and there was a highway patrolman standing up there on that hill. He happened to be black. And we told him, this is our Selma. He took his badge off and he walked away. So I know that they're souls, and I'm glad that they're not going to be doing this so-called urban shield thing anymore. At least not the way that they have it right now. Because that's positive. That's a change. But I'm telling you, Sheriff Kyle Kirchmeier is going around the country urging police officers and departments to militarize their police, and we have to stand up not only here in Oakland, but in all of so-called America, all of so-called Canada, all of so-called Mexico, all of so-called Brazil, all of so-called Ecuador, all of so-called the Amazon, and all of so-called Africa, because that's what's happening. Wopila. Remember, we stand. 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 We stand for our brothers.
happens when we have militarized policing and police? Shalim Tyndall, Stephen Clark, DeJuan Armstrong, Yvette Henderson, Oscar Grant, the young man whose name I don't know who was gunned down, the 18-year-old young man who was gunned down by the Sacramento Police Department 2 days ago. The names are too many, the bodies are too many, and justice is too few. At some point in conversation, this country is gonna have to have a conversation, a real conversation, about the origins of police and policing and the way it manifests in our communities today. Because we're having the conversation. I have the conversation with mothers and wives and children and brothers and sons and partners almost every single day of my life. But we need the broader community to be having this conversation. We need them to be having this conversation. We need there to be some accountability. And that's why continued resistance is so important. Joye brought up a really good point. There will be no urban shield as it's currently configured. But who will be seated at the table to shape what next year looks like? Who? It's gotta be us. It's gotta be the community. It's time for community to define, to shape, and to orchestrate what keeps us safe. It's supposedly for our safety, then we damn well should have a voice and a say in what that safety looks like. So this is not the end, this is the beginning. This is not the end, this is the beginning. Yes? This is not the end.
This is the beginning.
This is not the end.
This is the beginning.
This is not the end.
This is the beginning.
Okay. Our next speaker is a freedom fighter. I've had the honor of having them on my show when I was at KPFA. There's so much important work in our community. Is the Community Rights Co-Director at Casa Justa Just Cause. Y'all please welcome Kitsia Esteva Martinez.
Buenas tardes. So, I think it's a really wonderful day to both celebrate that we're not going to have Urban Shield again, right, in the same way that is now, and to celebrate that our communities are coming all over the country in solidarity in the Bay Area to fight climate catastrophe and to bring the solutions from our communities, right, from the ground, from the people that have been extremely impacted by the crisis and have been visionary in making solutions happen, and celebrate that Urban Shield, this fight, is one of the visionary fights that we won. And so one of the things that I do, I'm a community rights organizer at Causa Justa, Just Cause, and I'm undocumented, my family's undocumented, and I organize against deportations. I've had many meetings with this Alameda County Sheriff, Ahern. But you know what I'm trying to say, Ahern. And I really want to emphasize that when we come to this country, most of our communities that are immigrant, right, we're coming because of either political crisis or environmental crisis that was created by this government, right? And Urban Shield is one of those programs that is actually training people, not just in Alameda County, not just around the country, but like the entire planet, on how to brutalize our communities and brutalize our movements and displace us. And so this Urban Shield victory, right, fighting and winning against, like, winning dollar amounts against Urban Shield, it's a way in which we, inside the belly of the beast, are really prioritizing what it means to be in solidarity with the rest of the world as well. And so we must continue to celebrate and continue to figure out how we will continue to prioritize not just being in solidarity with immigrants here, right? But until none of us have to migrate here in the first place and be dislocated from our communities. And just really quickly, my family is one of those families that was displaced by environmental racism. We lost my nephew last year to leukemia after five battles with leukemia for 15 years of his life. He was 22. So Chuy está presente because he was one of the community warriors in the mission. You saw it at all the events. And the reason why he got sick with leukemia is because of a U.S. corporation, right, that was polluting our community back in Mexico, back in Veracruz. And so bring it all around, right? We're here because militarization of our communities is causing the migration, and it actually connects to several layers in which we are seeing mass displacement of Black and Latino communities in the Bay Area, all over the world. But really, it's about how we're gonna defund militarization and fund justice, right? Reinvest in what we need for our communities, invest in the visions of what we wanna see for our communities, which starts with really shutting down any and all ways in which we're being policed. And shutting down wars, because the government wants to say that, you know, it's capitalism and corporations only that are the cause of climate catastrophe. And guess what? Wars and armament, right, are the biggest polluters of the planet. And so again, we have a role, we have a huge role inside this community to continue pushing back against all the ways in which communities across the globe are being displaced here. And to remember that once we are here, we're here to contribute to the mass movement that is going to end this US empire. We're not here because we want the American dream, or because, you know, we have like, all these ideal, you know, ways in which people think we are, right? And we're not also here because we're here to prey on everyone and be, you know, the criminals that they make us out to be. But many of us do have criminal records. And many of us, even though we do have criminal records, we are here figuring out how we're gonna have solutions that invest in everyone, including those who have criminal records, and in that way also being in solidarity with other people of color communities that have been criminalized just like us. And so, again, I wanna invite you to continue in solidarity this whole week. I'm really appreciative that this is the event that's kicking off the entire week. And see you tomorrow at the big march at Embarcadero, and see you the next day and the next day, right, until we win. Thank you.
Thank you, Kitsia. I'm glad that Kitsia brought up what is happening to our family members who are lacking papers, and this office's complicity in the torment and torture of those family members. And I want to call out the fact that lip service in these dire times is absolutely not acceptable. And tweeting about an issue is not the same as standing in solidarity.
That's right.
Tweeting about an issue months after you actually sent the Oakland Police Department to support an ICE raid in my neighborhood is not standing in solidarity. And please don't think we'll forget ever what you did to that family, Libby Schaff, and how you slandered their names, and how you have never once stood in solidarity with this community as we stand outside of the office of this man that is harming so many people in our communities. I've been saying for a long time that Santa Rita needs to be shut down.
That's right!
It is a torture chamber. I said the name of DeJuan Armstrong earlier. How many of you know who he is? DeJuan Armstrong was a young man who was in for weekend visits. He went in on Friday and he never came home. And when his family went to see his body, it was covered in bruises. And the clothes that he went in there with are mysteriously missing. DeJuan Armstrong is one of 4 people that have, I don't even like to say the word died because if it happened on the inside, is murder. Inside of Santa Rita jails. How many of you have heard about the women? The one who was forced to give birth on the dirty jail floor while she wailed in pain. Or the other women who they try to coerce into abortions when they wanted to keep their babies. Or the other women who miscarried because of malnutrition and poor treatment. Santa Rita is a torture chamber, and Ahern is the lead torturer, and it needs to be shut down. And I would be remiss, excuse me, if I didn't say Jessica's name. Say her name, Jessica. 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 They let Jessica out. First of all, let me say, how many people have been to Santa Rita? Okay. It's in the middle of frickin' nowhere. And it is 1.9 miles away from a BART station. They let this child out, she's a child to me, at 1:25 in the morning. There's no payphones outside of Santa Rita. She walked a dismal, dark pathway to a BART station that was closed, and her body was found 4 hours later. What were they thinking? And then they turned around and said, oh, she overdosed. Well, wait a minute. I'm a thinking woman. Jessica had been in your facility since June. You let her out at 1:25 in the morning in Dublin. Where the hell did she cop enough dope to OD on at 1:25 in Dublin? You're talking to us like we're children, we're stupid, and that we still read fairy tales. Santa Rita is a torture chamber, and it needs to be what?
Shut down!
What?
Shut down!
What?
Shut down!
What?
Shut down!
I know I said I wasn't going to talk too much. Our next speaker is Jose Bernal with the Ella Baker Center. Make some noise, Oakley.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Well, what we need is an economic strike. Strike
when
the
our
system.
community is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, baby!
When our community is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, baby!
When our neighborhood is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, baby!
What do we do?
Stand up, baby!
What do we do?
Stand up, baby!
That's what we do. So I'm Jose with the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights. I'm here to talk to you. I'm going to echo what we've been saying, okay? We don't need to invest in militarization. We don't need to invest in buying war tanks to militarize our community. We don't need to invest in purchasing war weapons to murder our communities and our neighborhoods. That's not what's going to make us safe. What makes us safe is investing in community resources, investing things that make us healthy, things like education, things like schools, things like jobs, employment. These are the things that are going to make us safe. So we've been launching a campaign to audit the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. And let me tell you, this is not any ordinary audit. We're not just talking about, first of all, let me tell you about Alameda County Sheriff's Department, okay? Let me tell you about Sheriff Ahern. In the last 10 years, their jail population has significantly decreased. It's gone down by half. Naturally, common sense folks, anybody, you don't have to be a genius. Naturally, their budget should go down as well. The contrary has been true. Since 2005, and look this up, please, anybody fact check me. Since 2005, their budget has gone up by 105%. Alameda County Sheriff's Department is $444 million. As I'm talking right now, it's $444 million. What could we do with just 10% of that.
That's right.
How many people could we house in Oakland, in all of Alameda County? How many families could we feed with just 10% of that? Instead, our Alameda County Board of Supervisors continue to increase the sheriff's budget. Just last June, they increased his budget by $20 million. That is unacceptable. And as Cat Brooks is talking about the egregious acts of human rights abuses, Alameda County now leads the region. We lead the region. No other law enforcement in the region, even law enforcement agencies that are much larger than Alameda County, have the amount of civil rights settlements that Alameda County has. We lead the region in civil rights abuses. Shame! 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 That is unacceptable. And this audit is not any ordinary audit. Again, we're looking at performance and management, because this is not an unaccountable sheriff, and this is Sheriff Ahern lacks transparency. There is no transparency whatsoever. You know, as we're talking about, you know, the in-custody deaths that have happened in Alameda County, let me tell you a fact. There have been 34 in-custody deaths in the last 5 years that have happened in this county. That is unacceptable. So we need an independent auditor to come in and find out what's happening. The help is not going to come from Jeff Sessions. It's not going to come from the Department of Justice. This is a people's audit. We need an independent audit of the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. We need to hold Sheriff Ahern accountable. We say no more. No more. We say no more. No more. No more. No more. I urge you to take a stand. I commend you for your work in organizing and stopping Urban Shield. It shows the world that it can be done. It absolutely can be done. Yeah. And the fight is going to continue. It has to continue. We have to hold them accountable every single day, every week, every month. We have to support our allies, and we have to divest from incarceration, prison, militarization, and invest in what matters and what makes us safe. And that is investing in our communities and our neighborhoods. Thank you.
All right, y'all, we know that culture is the heartbeat of resistance, right? Culture is the heartbeat of resistance, so we're gonna inject a little town culture into our resistance. Y'all give it up for Boom Shake. Thank you.